When it comes to losing your quarterback early in, a game like that, not only a game that obviously matters, every game matters, but a game against Nazareth where you're trying to bounce back after 2 losses and you're trying to take home a win after, last year's loss. What sort of, adjustments do you have to make from the coaching perspective when you lose your starting quarterback like that, especially, in six-man football, there's only so much to go around?
Yeah, we're limited number wise. My staff does a really good job of getting those other kids ready to go. We have a segment every day where we work our twos, we work our threes to make sure if someone goes down, we got to be prepared to go out there and execute with whoever's out there. We had a lot of guys step up. Our seniors who were on that defensive line did a phenomenal job. They led our team in tackles last night, and that's a tough task against a really big and really physical Nazareth football team. So they did a phenomenal job, up front, being physical and doing what they were supposed to do.
Absolutely. Looking ahead at the rest of your schedule, you do still have 3 more weeks until district play begins. When it comes to those 3 games, Petersburg, Kroll, and White Deer, what are you looking at in those teams that you're hoping prepares you for that district play?
We just want to keep kind of building on our foundation. Like I said, we don't want to play our best football necessarily right now. We want that to happen once district kind of hits and the playoffs start rolling around. So we're just going to keep taking it one game at a time, one play at a time. We've got Petersburg next week, and they're a little different than Nazareth. They want to spread it out and they want to throw the football all over the field. So we've got to have a little different approach, but we want to continue to get better every day.
When it comes to that, when you walk into practice, what does it take from your perspective, especially, again, coming off of an overtime win, what does it take from your perspective to make sure that your kids are getting better every day? Because football season's a grind, you get through, a couple weeks now. It feels like right now, 4 games in, we're starting to get to that point of the season where it's like, all right, we've got 4 games through, but district play hasn't even started, and we got to keep going every day, day in and day out. Have to keep putting in effort if you're going to have success once district play does happen, and then eventually, hopefully, the postseason. What does it take from your perspective to motivate your team to continue to get better every single day, despite the fact that they're taking a toll physically on their bodies, probably mentally and emotionally as the school year goes on? There's a lot that goes on for these kids. How do you, as a coach, make sure that your team is focused on getting better every single day?
For me, it's our routine. We try to stick to the same routine. We try not to get off that routine very much, and like you said, football season is a grind. Those routines are a grind. It becomes such a grind to do the same things every day. But for us, that's extremely important for us and our staff. And we've got some senior guys who've been there, done that. They've played in the state quarterfinal football game. So they've been a part of some big football games, and they've been a part of long, hard practices, so they know what it takes to kind of maintain that focus and see the bigger picture at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to these first 4 weeks in the beginning of the season that you've had, there's a very big difference, I think, in my opinion. There's a very big difference between 2-2 and 1-3. I think that can set the tone for the rest of your season in a lot of ways. Whenever you do come out and you finish those first 4 games 2-2, when you were on the verge of starting 1-3. Obviously, these are just numbers. Had you lost the Nazareth game, you still would have played a great game last night against a great team. But when you look at the number 2-2 versus 1-3, do you think it kind of gives your team some motivation to say, hey, we can do this. We can be competitive. We can compete. We can have a good season, especially once district play rolls around?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something we've talked about. And this was a must-win almost for us. We don't want to dig ourselves in that hole. Where we start 1-3 now. Now we talk about all the time. It's non-district, and we got to get ready for district play and so on and so forth. But no one likes to lose. And no one likes a 1-3 record. We're too good of a football team to be 1-3. And that's something that we've talked about all week long, and that's kind of what we told our kids. We challenged them. We said, listen, they're going to be big, they're going to be physical, they're going to be ready to play. They're well coached. Coach Goodwin does a really good job over there. We've got to come out and play Valley football, and we've got to be physical, and we've got to leave 2-2, or we we can't lose this game, because that'll hurt some morale.
Mm-hmm. How big of a difference does morale make in a moment like that, especially considering, again, had Nazareth come out with the win last night, an overtime game, taking a great team like them to OT and then playing well in OT, obviously there are a lot of positives to take away in terms of on the field play, in terms of strategy, in terms of scheming, in terms of just skills on the field, but morale sets in a big way whenever that number says 1-3 compared to 2-2. How big of a deal is morale to you when it comes to your football team, especially, again, now that we're in that grind of the season, knowing it's kind of getting to the point where these kids are taking a toll? How big of a deal can a positive, good morale make?
Oh, it's huge. The last 2 weeks prior to this week, the kids, we lost 2 football games in a row, and you can definitely see it. The kids walking around the hallway, and their pep in their step, had kind of gone away. You can definitely see the morale was dropping, and then today at school, you can see the kids walking around, and they're happy. You can definitely see it. You can feel it. Our approach was better last night than it has been the last 2 weeks. You could definitely tell on the sidelines how our kids were responding and reacting. So it's a learning process for a lot of our younger guys. Like I said, our seniors they've been there, they've done it, they've been a part of some really big football games, and they're trying to lead and show these younger guys how it's done. And each week is important, but for us to have a high morale is going to be really important for us.
Tell me a little bit about this group of seniors that you have. How important is it to have that leadership on the field where you can't be during the middle of a game? You're on the sidelines. Tell me what it means to have leaders in the trenches on the field like that.
It's awesome. We last year we had a big group of seniors that we lost, and then this year, we have 8 senior boys that are all contributing for us, and they're all playing big minutes for us, and these 8 seniors that are a part of this year, they played some big ball games for us, so they know what it takes. They know what practices are like and how exhausted you can get in 104 degrees, and it's 3 p.m. and no one really wants to be out there, but we got to push through and do what we need to do. And so they've been there, and they've done it, and they're doing a great job leading us. Their leadership is never in question. We lost two football games in a row there the last 2 weeks, and they did a phenomenal job of keeping those younger guys' heads up and keeping the eye on the prize, and that's to be ready and play good football time whenever district starts.
Yeah, I think that's certainly an invaluable thing when it comes to losing 2 football games in a row. It's very difficult to come back and get a win after 2 losses in a row. Not only a win, but to come back and beat a team that beat you last year, and a team that is good, and a team that is going to bring it. To come back and get that win after 2 losses in a row speaks volumes to your team, speaks volumes to the leadership on your team. You mentioned one thing that I think is interesting. You mentioned that 104-degree heat. It has been hot here in Texas over the course of the last couple months as football season has gotten underway. But in the last couple days, it's gotten a little bit cooler. Have you benefited from that at all? Has your team appreciated the cooler weather? I know a lot of teams around the area around here are definitely glad to see that cooler weather kind of set in just a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure. We had a early Monday morning practice at 5:30 this week, and the kids were out there, and we were under the lights, and it was they were saying it's cold, Coach. It's cold out here. I'll take cold any day of the week over that 104 degree, and so the cold weather, the nice weather that we've had has helped a ton, but we know that we won't have that all the time. We won't have it next week, but it's helped. It really has.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining the show. Really appreciate you coming on. Congratulations on the win. Valley High Patriots 2-2 after that win in OT against a very good Nazareth team last night. Congratulations once again, Coach. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We'll be right back with more Sports Drive after the break. Stick around.